with section 4.4. So if you notice, the topic of today's lesson is, are there congruence shortcuts? And so we're going to focus this section and the next section on possible congruence shortcuts. And so first of all today, one of the questions we're going to answer is if there are 3 pairs of congruent sides in one triangle, and they're congruent to 3 congruent sides in the second triangle, are the 2 triangles congruent? Okay, so we're going to look at that. We're also going to look at what happens if you have 2 pairs of congruent sides and the angle between them. Will those 2 triangles be congruent? So that's another question we're going to answer. And then finally, we're going to look at what happens if you know 2 sides of one triangle, okay, and they are congruent to an angle in the 2 triangles. Are those 2 triangles congruent? Okay, so we're also going to go ahead and look at that. So first of all, on page 222 in your book, and I've got you with your groups, and so I want you to actually work together, and you're going to turn this in today. Okay, so I'm going to pick these up from the groups today, but first of all, page 222, you're going to need to follow along the instructions in that, and then you're going to turn in the results. You've actually got 3 investigations we're going to complete today. So first of all, if you read the top of page 222, it says, you will investigate the side, side, side case. If the 3 sides of one triangle are congruent to the 3 sides of another, must the 2 triangles be congruent? So step 1, you need to construct a triangle from the 3 parts shown. Be sure you match up the endpoints labeled with the same letter. We've already done this quite a bit, so I'm going to let you do that in your groups. When you do that in your groups, you need to complete step 2, step 3 as well. Okay, and then we'll come back together as an entire class. Yes, sir?
1 paper?
1 paper. Well, no, 2 papers. You each need to do the instructions. Okay, so step 2, step 3. Yes, I just want to do the first one. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Now, what you can do is just do this. You guys can actually compare. See how close they actually look. Since you actually started. So are those congruent? If you look at the
Oh, okay.
Now, as you're constructing these, okay, what you can do with your other member in your group is you can actually take one sheet of paper and then take the other sheet of paper, line them up, and you can see if they are in fact congruent. So that's another thing you can do. So, and if some of you, if you're using kind of thick notebook paper, you can actually hold them up against the light. But what did you notice? If the three sides of one triangle are congruent to the three sides of another triangle, what happens? Then the triangles are congruent. Okay? Then the triangles are congruent. For some reason, there we go. Now we should be able to erase them. Okay, then the triangles will be congruent. For some reason, it's not showing up. We'll see if we can try it again. Well, I'll just write it in. So now, what I need you to do is I need you to go to page 223. Page 223. And on that same sheet of paper, I want you to complete this investigation. And so on page 223, you are going to compare two sides and the included angle of one triangle, and you're going to compare that to two sides and the included angle of another triangle. And so first of all, it says construct a triangle from the three parts shown. I would start with DE first, folks. I would go ahead and do DE, and then I would do I would go ahead and do angle D, and then I would do side DF. So DE first, angle D, and then DF. That's in there. Okay. Yeah. Once you get that drawn, I want you to compare with your partner, and then you need to go ahead and make a conclusion. So now you got to do DF right here. DF. Yep. Did you really draw did you do this angle first? No, do this angle first. I think it'll be like DF. So go ahead and do this angle and then do DF. Oh, yeah, but how wide is it? I mean, did you do this? Did you measure this? Okay, that's what you need to do. Once you do that, you'll draw your line in, and then you can do DF. Okay? Which one is it? you measure that up? Did you want to use one? And see what I would get back to see if you measure it right. So let's go.
It's a strong word.
So what'd you find out about your triangles, folks?
They're congruent.
They are congruent. So far we've got two choices here. SSS and SAS. Okay? So side, 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 and then side, angle, side. You got one more we're going to look at. Do you see the one at the bottom of the page? That's the one we need to focus on next. Okay, that's the one we need to focus on next. And so that one is side, side, side. So on this one, it says construct a triangle from the 3 parts shown. So if I were you, I would start with ST first. Okay, I would start with ST first. You could then measure angle S and then do TU. So make sure you follow the steps in the book, specifically step 2 here. So now when you construct this, do you notice that the triangles are congruent?
Yes.
Hey,
They're not.
they're not congruent. Why aren't they congruent?
Because there's 2 options.
Because you can actually get 2 triangles, believe it or not. Okay, when you take that TU, what I want you to do right now is go ahead and open your compass up to TU. So go ahead and put that in your book. I want you to go ahead and place one end of your compass on T. I want you to swing that arc so that it actually almost goes close to 180 degrees. So swing that so it goes 180 degrees, or close to 180 degrees. Yeah. I want you to put one end on T, and then I want you to go ahead and push my down. Okay. I want you to swing it here, and then I want you to swing it 180 degrees. What do you notice about that? Could it actually hit angle S more than once?
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually we create 2 triangles. So SSS does not work. SSS does not
Is it SSA?
work. Or SSA, sorry, I said that wrong. Does not work. So the only 2 options we have today are SSS and SAS. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to look at some examples, some things that you're going to run into on your homework. So let's go ahead and look at this first. It says name the conjecture that leads to each congruence. Now on some of these you're going to have to fill in angles that you know are the same based on what they give you. You can't just look at it and say, ooh, that's what it is. So they want to say PAT is congruent to IMT. So we have 2 options, SSS or SAS. So let's look at this. What do these 2 arrows mean? They're what?
Parallel.
They're parallel. So with 2 parallel lines, I know that I have some angles that are going to be the same, right? What do I know angle P is going to be the same as? I, because those are alternate interior angles. Okay? What else? Do I know that angle T is the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Angle A and M.
Angle A and M are the same. Good. Okay, so I need to come up with a congruence conjecture. And so right now, we haven't covered one of those yet. All we have are we have side, 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 or side, angle, side. Okay, so right now we can't determine that these are congruent. As of tomorrow, we will be able to. Okay, but this one would be a cannot be determined from what they give us. Let's look at the next one. TS bisects MA. So TS bisects MA, what does that tell us? Aren't those the same if it bisects MA? Okay, what else does it tell me? MT is congruent to AT. Okay, and what else do I know? I know that these 2 triangles are congruent. What do I know about side TS? It's got to be the same. So what congruence conjecture would tell me that they are the same? Side, side, side. All right, let's look at another one. Name a triangle congruent to the given triangle and state the congruence conjecture. If you cannot show the triangles to be congruent, right cannot be determined. So let's go ahead and look at this. M is the midpoint of AB. So M is the midpoint of AB. What does that tell me?
MD and MA are equal.
Those are equal, right? And M is also the midpoint of PQ. Okay, do I know any other angles that are the same? M. Why are those the same? Vertical angles. See, you have to look for vertical angles as well. And so let's look at what I have here. Do I have 2 triangles that are the same, are congruent?
Yes.
By side, angle, side. So now we have to specify which one they're the same as. So first of all, A, let's see. AM is the same as MB, right? So what would A be the same as? B. Okay, so you kind of have to switch your thinking a little bit there. Okay, P is the next one. So see, basically I'm comparing. What would P be the same as?
Q.
Q. And then what would M be the same as?
M.
There you go. So do you see how you break that down and you just compare each individual part as opposed to writing the triangle as a whole? Let's look at another one. K-I-T-E is a kite with K-I congruent to T-I. Okay, so I know that K-I and T-I are the same. Do I know anything else? I-E is the same as itself, right? Okay, now for those of you that are struggling to see that, if I draw two separate triangles here, I-T-E, and I draw another triangle here, K-I-E. Okay, that I-E has to be the same. It's the same length because it's the same segment. That's why we mark that the same. Okay, I also know that K-I is congruent to I-T. Do I know anything else? How do I know that T-E and K-E are the same? You're right. These two are the same, but how do I know that? What do you know about a kite? Has four sides. What else about a kite? Has two pairs of two congruent sides. I've got one pair right here with the IT and the KI. So the other pair obviously has to be the TE and the KE. Okay, so these are congruent. Now I got to figure out what is congruent to what. So let's break it down. Let's start with K. If I look, at these bottom two triangles, what does K match up with? T. Very good. Okay, what does I match up with? I. Okay, what does E match up with? E. And why are these congruent? Side, side, side. SSS. Nice job. Okay, let's look at another one. All right, do I know anything else in this triangle or in this diagram? Vertical angles, good. So I know these are the same. Do I know any other things? I don't know parallel lines. Okay, they aren't marked parallel, they're marked congruent but not parallel. Okay, so do I know triangles are congruent? SQR.
Wait, doesn't QR and RT have to be the same?
We don't know that they're parallel or anything else. So let's look at this scenario here. What do I have here? I have a
Angle side. No side angle.
side, side angle. What do I know about side, side angle? It doesn't work. So this one would be a CBD. Okay, CBD, which means can't be determined. Okay, so what you could do is you could actually write CBD if you wanted to. And here we go, triangle MON. So let's fill some things in that we know. I know that these are parallel, so that's going to tell me some things about angles, right? So what do I know this angle is the same as? O. Okay, do I know anything else?
M and D are equal.
No, I don't have a transversal cut in there. Do I know anything else? Here you have M, O, N. So right now I have two marks, one mark. So I have N, T, O. So I have this and this. Do I know anything else? NO is the same as itself, right? That's that same segment. It's the same as itself. So do I know these triangles are congruent? By what? Side, angle, side. So SAS. So let's start pairing up. Okay, what does M have to be the same as? Is it T?
No, M.
You're actually right, it is T. So triangle T. Okay, what does O have to be the same as? N. That's why you have to kind of pair up, because O is the congruent angle to N. So this is actually N. And then the next one, what does N have to be the same as? O. So break it down, go individual components. All right, so this is what you need to do for me. Pages 224 through 225, 4 through 19. Now listen up. Tomorrow, we have the ITBS during this class time. So tomorrow we won't be doing another section. So this assignment is actually due Wednesday at the end of class. Okay, we will do ITBS for the first part of the period, and then we will go ahead and have class the second part of the period. So Wednesday at the end of class, we will go ahead and grade this assignment.